So then maybe you're asking yourself, well, how can we protect ourselves against mass movement since it seems to happen everywhere? Well, some of the ways that we can mitigate this is we can map the areas that might be at risk. So we can look for things that show us, right, that there is very unstable slopes, and we can map that out, right, and assess the different risks. We can also use GPS, right, to monitor that very slow movement like creep and soil effluxion that is really hard to see. So we can monitor that definitely using satellites. But there are things that we can do to help mitigate this mass movement. The first thing is doing revegetation, which is a very simple and very effective method. So revegetation is literally just planting material, putting plants. And basically what this will do is the roots will then go down into the ground and act like an anchor, right, holding that material in place. Plus the plants also help remove water or weight, right, from that rock because it's the tree or the plant is actually using that water. We can terrace an area, so basically terracing is creating these giant steps. So here there was once a hill that was probably unstable, and the owners of this house down at the base were worried about that whole thing slumping. So they removed the weight, right? You can see they removed one triangle there, another triangle there, and another bit here, right? And removed quite a bit of the weight. So that way this whole area wouldn't slump and fall down. We can also regrade an area, which is basically reshaping the slope. A lot of the times this is done on roads. It's done with a tractor and this thing that's pulled behind a tractor that basically looks like a giant comb. And it's just redistributing the material. Because obviously you don't want to have a slope that's too high. So that can lower that angle of repose. Adding drainage to an area will definitely help because it's going to be dewatering an area, right? Helping remove some of that weight that might be added during significant rain events. We can also help slow down or eliminate undercutting done by rivers, and that can be done in one of two ways. You can literally move the river. So here in this first image, the river was once flowing through this channel. However, it was rediverted into a second channel. So it's just moving the river outwards again. Of course, the river is going to continue to cut that way, but it's just moving it, right? Basically buying yourself a little bit more time. Another method we can do that you can see here at the bottom is by adding riprap. So as these waves come in, instead of hitting this area with all this rock, making it very unstable, it's going to hit into these cement blocks. So the cement blocks are going to be taking the brunt of the force, and of course cement's going to erode very, very slowly, so it protects all of that rock that's behind it. We can add retaining walls. Retaining walls is basically just, as you can see here in this picture, just a concrete wall that's going to be a catch basin. So all of this material, as it slumps or falls, it's just going to fall, but it's going to fall into the retaining wall instead of falling over the road and maybe burying the road and potentially burying people that are driving on the road. We can also add covers. A cover is literally what it says. It's something that covers the rock. Most of the time it's a fence that's just going to cover the surface. So as that material fails, it's going to fail inside the fence and get caught up by that net. We can also add these things called rock staples, which you can see here. So here in this area we've got rock that's going to kind of cleave off these parallel fractures, but if we add staples, it's just kind of binding it to that solid rock that's underneath, just like if you staple a bunch of papers together. Or we can add these things called avalanche sheds. These are by far my favorite, and you see these out west quite a bit. So you might out west drive through a tunnel, and the reason is maybe there could be snow or rocks that are falling on top. And really this is just the easiest way to protect people as they're moving through the area.